Hey everyone, what's up? Uri for Gorilla Poker. Today I wanted to show you guys some preflop theory and kind of check in with you guys because for those who don't know, CHECKRAISING course is out on the site. Would love to hear what you guys think about it, whether it's the entire course or the first chapter, and any thoughts you guys have. But I'm thinking about what to do next, and I'd like to put out content a bit faster than I've been doing. I know I've been taking my time with it. So I want to give you guys some kind of throw some ideas at you guys and tell me what you would be interested in. And one of my ideas has to do with preflop. Preflop could go all sorts of directions. I'll show you guys one or two small things in a video. And if this is something you guys would be interested in seeing in YouTube videos or in a course more in depth, let me know and let's jump into the content. So here on the screen we have preflop ranges that we're selling on the Gorilla Poker website. On the left you have NL100 ranges, on the right you have NL2000 ranges, and we're going to be focused on the UTG opening range. Now the difference between these two situations is just the rake structure. You know, you might think that 2KNL rake is lower, you get to open more, and 100NL rake is higher, you get to open less. When you look at the solver is actually opening more or less exactly the same amount of hands in both, which is already interesting to think about why that would be. But it's opening different types of hands, which is also interesting to think about. Now, what do I mean different types of hands? When you look at the 2KNL range, you have more deuces, threes, fours. You have more 10-9 suited, Jack-9 suited. You have more 10-8 suited, 9-8 suited, 7-8 suited. So all the cool, sexy stuff, all the suited connectors, the pocket pairs. When you look at the NL100 range, you have more King-10 offsuit, Queen-Jack offsuit, King-5 suited, Ace-Deuce suited. So other than Ace-Deuce suited, which is a pretty cool hand, you have more of high equity hands, but not as good in terms of playability. So what is actually going on here? Two things. One has to do with how Monker Solver works, and that's, we're looking for an equilibrium. So make the rake higher. I'll open the same range and you'll be forced to defend less. And we see this when you click on the open, you guys will see that even though it's the same opening range, Big Blind will fold 10% extra at NL100 compared to NL2K, and that's where the rake comes into play. This is what lets you open the same range, because your opponent is doing the extra folds. And of course, if you're playing against someone who's not very rake aware, don't open as much. You need to open less because your opens are actually, some of them are losing you money now. Hope that makes sense. So what I'm saying is if you're playing some high stakes reg at NL100 and he's defending his high stakes ranges, that's probably bad for both of you and you want to open less because the rake is just killing you both. But putting that aside, that's not what I want to talk about. So what happens is you get called more. Now if you get called more, you're going to see the flop more. If you're going to see the flop more, you care more about the playability of your hands as seen in the high stakes range, where we like deuces and we like 10-9 suited and Jack-9 suited, all these nice playable hands. If you look at the high stakes range, we're going to see the flop more, so we like the pretty hands more. If we look at the low stakes range, we just, in theory, get called less. I know in practice in low stakes this might not happen, and then maybe you go the other way around. But in theory, you would get called less due to the high rake. And now, if I'm not getting called, I don't want threes. Threes has bad removal effects. I want King-10, so you 3-bet me less, you fold a bit extra, and we're not seeing the flop that often anyway. So this is kind of what explains the differences in opening ranges as you go up or down stakes. It's fairly intuitive, fairly easy to understand once explained in this way. And then, if you guys are playing a high stakes game, it's correct to see people playing more with suited connectors and pocket pairs. If you're playing a low stakes game, it should be more King-10, King-Jack, Ace-Deuce. We're looking to have the high cards. This is theory, and once we understand the reasons, we can go, well, in practice, everyone's so loose at my low stakes game. I'll play the high stakes range because of how people defend it, and that's perfectly reasonable. Maybe even just cut out both hands, right? If people are just defending too much, 6-7 suited and deuces are probably losing you money. If you look at something like 9-8 suited, it's mixed raising and folding. That means it's 0 EV2 raise. That means that if your opponent defends extra, it becomes minus EV to raise, because obviously you would rather he fold. You're not winning more than that with him calling you with some random hand he shouldn't, like an 8-3 suited or a king 8 off or whatever. It's not actually good enough for you. 8-3 suited maybe, but that's a very specific, say 10-5 suited. Now that we understand these principles, let's say that we want to build a range for your games, and you guys see this range, and this range is all kind of mixed and funky, and not everyone wants to use an RNG when they're playing. So what do? You look at the range, you look at the situation, and let's say you're like, okay, I'm playing high stakes, and I think people actually defend more. And, they 3-bet similarly, they defend more, so that's bad for my 0 EV hand. So I'll take this range, and I'll take out all the 0 EV stuff, and actually play, this range. So 15 rather than 18, nobody's ever going to notice, right? And this becomes a non-mixed range. Similarly, if you think you have a big edge, or people are actually crazy loose, or nobody 3-bets, or whatever, you might actually say, okay, well, all these mixed hands, actually going to add these. These make sense, and we're adding them in this order because let's say we think not enough 3-bets and people are bad post-flop, but they do cold call. Then we'd add these. If we think everyone's too tight when I open UTG, I have a good image, we might add actually these hands first and not take like deuces and threes and all these. So all these options are okay, but rather than looking at the range and memorizing it and being, oh, let's RNG, in practice you look at the situation, the table composition, where the recreational players are sitting, if there are any, and how you expect them to play. And then you take this range as a base to build your strategy from. As always, if you liked the video, like and subscribe to the channel. Let me know what you guys think. If this is something you guys would like me to do in YouTube videos or in some kind of more in-depth course where we just break down pre-flop by looking at solutions, kind of like I do with PO Solver, and explaining what's behind them so that you understand them, you can implement them, etc. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see you next time.